This is the Bringing Business to Retail podcast with today's guest, Matt Barnett from Bonjoro.
Welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast on SelenaKnight.com. Stay ahead of the competition by opening your doors to business experts so you can learn, grow, and be inspired. Passionate about bringing business strategies to independent retailers, please welcome your host, Selena Knight.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. If you're anything like me, you can feel absolutely swamped and drained by the constant communication barrage that we get every single day, whether it's via emails, the dozens. In fact, I had a look at my email this morning, and before I even woke up, so between when I went to bed and when I woke up, there were 76 emails in my inbox. Now, granted, a bunch of those were spam, but the fact remains I still have to go through them and delete out all the garbage that is sitting in my inbox. Now, next up, of course, we head over to social media and we just mindlessly scroll through with our thumb on our phone, looking at what's happening. And we're seeing not only what our friends and our family are doing, but also a bunch of advertising, all the stuff that's happening in our groups. Then we head over to Instagram and we are just bombarded with exactly the same. We walk out the door and there's advertising in our face, there's lots of noise, people are talking. And when you're driving along, you've got the radio going. It just feels like we are constantly being assaulted by marketing, by advertising, and just noise in general. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just like to sit and hear the quiet. Like sometimes I'll just retreat to the bath or go down to my office and just sit just for a couple of minutes to just clear my mind. So when we're trying to get through to our customers, when we're trying to bring them into our brand, to engage them, this word that we're always talking about, customer engagement, it is hard to be finding the next way to get in front of them, to get them to open our emails, to get them to come and buy from us. And that's where I love today's guest. I have been a fan of Bonjoro since it first came out. And in my recent Retail Breakthrough series, I actually recorded around 400 Bonjoro videos and sent them to just about every person who registered. I did lose my voice as a result, and it was just a little experiment. I don't know if I will do it again because it wasn't even necessarily the time. I managed to get these little Bonjoro videos down to about 30 seconds. So all up, it wasn't a lot of time, but it was a lot of emotional energy. And it took its toll on my voice because not only was I doing lots of speaking at that time, but I was also recording these videos every moment that I got. So if you don't know what Bonjoros are, they are video messages. And I've brought Matt onto the show, a fellow Aussie, to talk about how something like video messaging can absolutely break through that noise, but not only that, can get you the customer buy-in that you have been looking for. Matt has got some great customer examples of retailers who are using this exact product in order to significantly grow their sales and improve customer retention rates. Now, before we jump in, I want to say a great big shout out and thank you to Lisa at TUB for her review of the podcast. She gave it 5 stars and it says, "Nuggets of pure gold for retailers. My go-to podcast went out for a walk, but then I find myself back at work re-listening and taking notes to implement in my new business. Full of common sense advice and the total antidote to overwhelm. Thanks, Sal." Well, thank you, Lisa. Every time I read one of these, I am so proud that this little podcast is out there helping people, because this is the thing, breaking through the noise. I know that you have so many options to listen to and to fill your time with when it comes to growing your business. So a big heartfelt thank you from me to you if you are out there listening. And I would love it if you could leave a review on the podcast and potentially we'll feature your review on the show. Simply hit the review button on your podcast device, whether you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. We are in all the big channels. Simply hit reviews and let me know what you think. Tag me at The Selena Knight and let me know where you're listening to this podcast. What are you doing right now that this is filling in a little bit of your time and helping you learn, grow, and be inspired? So today's episode with Matt is really going to show you not only how you can keep your customers and surprise and delight them, but also how you can use Bonjoro to grow your customer database. And scaling your retail business requires leveraging and focusing on what's working. You're going to have to try different things. You're going to have to test and measure. If you want to move from a 6-figure business to a 7-figure business, or perhaps you're already at that point, you're already at 7-figure turnover and you want to move to 8 and beyond, you need to know what's working. So I've put together the Next Level Metrics Monitor, a simple cheat sheet on what you need to be measuring to scale your retail business and move to the next level. It's yours for free. If you would like it, simply head on over to selenaknight.com/metrics and you can download it, start using it in order to see what is working in your business, what you need to do more of in order to grow and move your business to 7 figures and beyond. Grab it at selenaknight.com/metrics. Okay, let's jump in to today's episode with Matt Barnett from Bonjoro. Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. Today, I've got Matt Barnett on the show. Matt's from Bonjoro, and if you joined my Retail Breakthrough series, you would know exactly what a Bonjoro is. It is a personalized video message that I recorded over 400 of recently and welcomed every single person into the Retail Breakthrough series. I really love this platform because of the way that it connects. So I asked Matt to come on and talk to you about how personalized video messaging can be used to significantly retain your customers in your retail business. So welcome to the show, Matt.
Hey, Selena. Thanks for having me.
No problems. I will secretly profess and not secretly profess. I tell everybody that I love your platform, and I love it because I can get that instant connection with somebody. And when I did send out all those videos recently, I was having people email me saying they felt so special getting an email just for signing up to a challenge. So what made you even think of a little app that you can put on your phone that allows you to send a video to anybody via email?
So, to be honest, it was an accident. So I've told the story a couple of times, but essentially we had another business where all of our customers were large agencies, generally in the UK and the States, and we're based here in Australia. And so, relationships are super important, but it's very hard to break through to people, especially in different time zones. So I work in the city here in Sydney. I take a ferry to work every morning. And we built a hack where whenever someone signed up, it would ping me. And I made the decision to send every single person, whoever came into our lead funnel, a video. And this is because, look, I love people. I'm very good with people. Everything came down to getting on the phone or talking to those individuals. And what I would do is record a video on this ferry. The wind would be blowing in my hair. You couldn't understand me half the time, but I was showing the Opera House, and most importantly, I would say that person's name. So I'd say, hey, Jamie from Ogilvy, wonderful to have you sign up. I saw you came in. My name's Matt. I'm the founder. We're based here in Sydney. I'll be in New York in 4 weeks. Would love to come and talk to you and the team. And there's the Opera House. And we thought not much of it, but overnight we tripled our response rates. And
Wow.
everyone was coming back and they were just saying, yeah, and they were coming back to us and saying, look, this is hilarious. You should absolutely come in and see us.
Were you guys in your onesies? Because you guys have, your team has a propensity to do videos in onesies.
Well, all that came later as we started to build a brand. This was the early hack, and it was just trying to get our personality across. And look, I'm not a great writer. I'm a good talker, and in email, it's just not me. But on video, it's me, and that's all we were trying to do. And they start to happen, and then to cut a long story short, one of those customers asked if they could use this little hack we built, and then they sent some out, and then one of their customers asked if they could use it, and so we let them come on board, and then, hey presto, 18 months later, we've had kind of thousands of signups coming in, and it's just kind of taken off. But it was before brand, it was before everything else, it was just us trying to get more responses.
And it works. I got one of those videos. I think the one that I got was you walking through London, because you told me you're in London, and you had to step into like a doorway because the wind was blowing so loudly.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, they actually care. Like, they're real people. And that was I guess that's probably why I'm such a big advocate of your platform over other platforms that do this is I feel like I know you guys, even though I don't.
It's funny. I mean, I think so many business, we're not unique, yeah. Like lots of businesses care about customers. I think probably the challenge is how do you show that at scale? 30 seconds to welcome someone on board. If that person is going to be a customer, absolutely worth our time. And so this is just an easy way to do that. But the flip side is it's pretty fun. Like it doesn't, we see someone. I think it's like in 3 seconds you kind of get an idea if you trust that person. Like we're very good at judging people, but obviously on an email you don't see who the person is. Video, it's like well here we are. It's completely transparent. If you like, it's great. But it's again, we're not unique. We just found a way to do this. I think most businesses out there have people who love customers, or we wouldn't be doing it. I think
that's true, but the extra step of actually putting yourself out there, because a lot of people can find video very daunting. And this is raw video. There's no editing process. The only editing is a do-over. It's literally hold it up, say some stuff, and then press go. And so I know that when I feel quite confident on video, but for me, this was a different medium. So the first time I had a script there, that worked for about the first one, and I just realized this was not going to work. It doesn't work because it's not authentic, and it doesn't work because it's, the stutters and the stammers actually make, the not knowing what you're going to say makes it all the more real and connectable.
I mean, but it's crazy. I laugh at this because video is obviously a hurdle for us, but to be honest, if you're having a coffee with someone or if you meet someone you never met before, that's how you come across. You will stutter, you will stammer, nothing's prepared, you're just kind of going off the cuff. So it's just real life. And then suddenly we put a video up, and when you can see how you look, we think, uh-oh. But that's how everyone else sees us anyway. So, one thing is that you'll find, because with the system you're doing a lot of one-to-one videos, it's not one perfect video. Very quickly, as you said, you kind of get over the scripting because you realize you just can't do it. And then when you realize that people react better, if you make a mistake, send that video because people will think it's funny and they'll be like, okay, well, this is real. It actually helps. And that's because we like transparency. We like, genuine people. I think it's time to kind of start to drop those barriers of business and personal.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever used it was when I was doing a live event. And I thought there were only going to be 20 or so people there. I thought this was okay. I wasn't going to be overwhelmed with having to do too many videos. They weren't going to come in at once. And I remember even going to the venue and videoing myself walking in the door. It was a little bit complicated in the fact that you had to go up an escalator and through a door and things like that. So I thought, what better opportunity to just say, hey, I'm here at the venue. This is how you get there. And I sent that one because I sent that one not personalized. I sent that one to all 20 like the day before, because it just to me was making the customer journey so much easier. In this case, the physical journey of coming to the event so much easier. And that was, I think you had that a little bit later. I don't know if you had that right from the beginning, but the ability to send it to a bunch of people for me that just opened another door. And I did think to myself after I did the 400 or so videos that there were several people with the same name. And if I was smart, I probably could have sent the same video to all of them. Like, it's Lisa. But then I kind of figured it wouldn't be as authentic. So I did every person, even if you had the same name as somebody else.
I think it's important for people to know that. I mean, and this is the thing. We have been asked before, we obviously will get marketers coming on board and they're like, right, can I do, like you said, a video for Lisa and send it to every Lisa? And it's kind of a hard one for us because I'm like, I understand the reason behind it, but I'm like, it's kind of against the reason behind doing it.
The whole ethos of the product.
The ethos, yeah. Here's the thing, yeah. It's even if your customer doesn't quite realize the fact that you're doing that and you're pretending that it is for them personally is already taking a step in the wrong direction. And so I think there's a part here that is about doing business better and showing that you're willing to go where other businesses won't go. And that's what customers need and kind of, I mean, to be honest, like, that's what I think they deserve.
Yeah.
It's not just about video, yeah. Like everything we're doing here, like we're building a brand as much as anything. And this brand is, this ethos of, look, if we can remove all the process from your business, really what that should do is it doesn't mean you go and automate everything with customers. It means you actually have more time to spend making real relationships with customers, and that's what's important.
I have had this conversation with many of my clients who are all retail businesses, some are e-commerce businesses. And to me, this product for an e-commerce business is game changing because you no longer are just a website, you actually are a person. So I love this as welcoming every new customer where possible. And here's the thing, if you have a team, you can actually assign these to different team members. So you don't have to get overwhelmed with all of them. But the other thing, I think the number one tip that I have if you're a business for using Bonjoro is use it when you're sending somebody's order out. Hey Emma, I'm just packing your order here. I love this product too, great choice. Just want you to know that it will be going out in the mail this afternoon, and keep an eye out on for the mailman over the next couple of days. One, it's proof that your package got sent. Two, it's a little bit of validation that, you think I chose really well. We all love that. And three, I now know, I now am excited about the fact that, I know my parcel went, so it's coming in the next couple of days.
It's funny. I met a chap a while ago who has been doing this for the last few years. So before Bonjoro was ever a thing. And they sell, I think, Hills hoists and things like that.
That's clotheslines to all the Americans.
Yeah, and super successful. Awesome business, really, really switched on, very kind like a big niche. But it's funny, I was chatting to him, and he's like, we've already been doing this for a couple of years. He goes, we send out videos from our packing department, and they do something like 300 a day when things get delivered. And I was like, this is super interesting. Why are you doing this? And he goes, two reasons. He goes, first of all, that expectation and knowledge that the delivery is coming is a massive confidence booster. It shows that, we're there. It humanizes us. He said the other thing is that when they get it, we then send them a link and ask them to leave us a review. And he's like, we get far more reviews. Their site has thousands of Google reviews and people amazing communication. And these are Hills hoists, nothing special. Just so smart. And I was like, you don't need Bonjoro. You are we need to learn from you. And this guy's been doing this, for years, and he's like, it works so well. But very importantly, he does the follow up after delivery. And so what he does is he takes that the added engagement that he gets from spending the time doing this and turns it into reviews, which I think is genius.
Which we all know, especially in e-commerce, is gold. One, Google loves fresh content, and two, it's the social proof that comes with the product. So thank you for that little tip. I'll be adding that one into my bag of tricks because I didn't have that one. Okay, so if people are thinking, all right, now I need to know what this platform thing is, what are the tips that you've got for people to actually making this thing work properly? Apart from being raw and real and authentic, what are the other tips that you've got?
So I think anything you use that's new, there is a testing period. I think whenever you invest in kind of new technology, most platforms out there in the world have kind of free trials. We do the same. Make the most of that free trial, and rather than putting a toe in the water, give something a proper shot. I think the easiest place to start on this. So best intentions, don't have a million ideas and run and do them all. Pick one thing and do it well. So I think the easiest place is just start with your new higher value orders. So invest in the kind of higher value kind of products and customers. Set it up and test out 20 of these messages that go out to individuals. We say being authentic, everything else. If you can tie a message into your brand, it is awesome. So for instance, if you're selling, let's go back to the Hills hoists guy. I'm like, right. Well, if you could do it in the department with all the Hills hoists, if you could do it outdoors, if you could do something that ties into that brand, that's great. We obviously, our brand is all about bears, so we make sure that our messages are quite fun. We tend to do it out in the cities and stuff because that's the whole point we're talking about here is being authentic and real. So we do that. Don't do messages in a whitewashed office building with bad downlighting. Do it in your place of work or outdoors, or again, tie these back to your brand. I think more than anything, just have some fun with it. I don't think you should take this too seriously. That's not the point of what it is. The more creative you can be, if you can involve team members, often it might not be you that ends up being the person that really gets to grips with this, but it might be one of your more junior team members. It might be one of your more senior team members. My best team member at this is a 23-year-old that who was an intern and has come on full time in the UK, and she's absolutely hilarious. And she beats all of us hands down on view rates and shares and responses, just because she has so much energy. So I think, if it's, give it a proper try, have some fun with it, try it with a couple of team members if you have them, and see who it fits the best.
Okay, I'm going to throw some tips in from someone who's done many hundreds of these now. First one is, don't try to go further than a minute. Unless you have a reason to go further than a minute, like when I was, doing the journey into the event, it's just, you just start to stumble and stutter and you're not quite sure what to say and you don't know how to finish. I always love the message, but I was thinking the Hills Hoist guy probably does this because he's pretty savvy, is always making sure you have a call to action. So in his case, it could be, hey, we'd love it if you love your product when it comes, if you could leave us a review. Don't worry, we'll be sending you an email to remind you, but we always value your feedback. So they kind of know that it's coming. For me, it's always, follow me on Facebook or something along those lines, whatever I'm trying to promote, because you've got a little button at the end that they can press to do whatever I've just asked them to do. And I had one more. What was it? Oh, you said it earlier, but always say their name. Like, always make this the personal thing, which is, hi Jane, hi Emma. And you were talking about your young intern. Here's another, this thing is awesome, right, guys? I just want to give you this example because this is how you can use it. I sent an email request in to ask if the product could do something. And she actually sent me a Bonjoro back saying, hey, I got your request. I don't think she could answer it at the time. I just wanted to let you know that I don't have the answer for you, but I've got the guys onto it and I'll let you know as soon as I can. And I was hands down just absolutely floored, because normally when you email a company, you get some stock standard offshore reply, which is, we're looking into it, blah, blah, blah. You have no hopes, no dreams that you're ever going to get your product, whatever the answer is to the product. But that video was like, again, oh my goodness, these people care. They actually got my request and someone's going to get back to me. Like, all of a sudden, I think the expectation diminishes, because now I know you're real, even though I already knew you were real. But now it's like, okay, somebody is looking into this for me. So I'm sure that they've got a handle on it. So using this even for those really cranky customers in retail, the type of people we're talking about, the ones who, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they're going to be keyboard warriors, and they're going to take out all their frustrations of whatever's going on in their life against you because they don't know who you are, and the color was wrong or whatever the problem was. But if you did a video back to them, I am positive that at least 50% of the negativity and the anger and taking it out on you would diminish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's so much harder to be upset with a human.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the great shames about the way that we've gone with email and things. It has dehumanized us, and people, like I said, those people, I don't think it's their fault. Like, this is the thing. I think it's a challenge of we've had bad customer support over time, and and our expectations are low in what comes back. So when you break that cycle, they generally react extremely positively. And and the funny thing is, and I'm sure the listeners know this, maybe I'm preaching to converted, but when you turn those cranky customers around, they become your biggest advocate.
Customers ever.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like when I get a cranky message, I'm like, here's an opportunity to get an advocate every time.
Yeah. Okay, so I have another question for you, which is, in the days of everything being crypto, malware, don't click on anything in email because it will shut your computer down and hold it to ransom. What can you do to make sure that people actually click on the email? So inside of your app, just so the listeners can understand, inside the app, you can, I think it's swipe left, and you can see all the Bonjoros that you've done, and it will tell you whether the person's opened the email or whether they've clicked it. I do love that. I think someone watched one of my videos 6 times. I don't know if they're just showing it to their friends or what, but that just gave me like a little bit of this is all worth it. So I know that when I click on nothing anymore, apart from now I'll click on Bonjoros because I know what they are. But if a customer is getting this, how can you increase the actual click rate so that they go and listen to your message?
Okay, so I'll take a bit of a case here as well from a Australian shop. So the person who runs it's called Jane Reed. They do subscription organic fruit and veg out in country New South Wales. So quite a non-tech savvy audience. So this is a big thing for them. The way they've tackled it is, first of all, when that order comes through, the kind of order confirmation, they let them know that they are going to be that there'll be a message coming and that it's okay and that it's from them. And they mentioned the word Bonjoro that goes out. So this is just a little thing they put in. When you do these videos, you also have an opportunity to write a message that goes out with the Bonjoro. You want to make sure that message is, again, slightly tailored to that individual. So we'll often say, hey, Nicola, this is Matt here. Just wanting to welcome you on board Bonjoro in person. This is a message just for you. So there's a little message you can write that will show up in the email body. Make sure that is explicit in explaining what the message is. A couple of other things. We have a subject line function in the system. So you can change your subject lines. Again, there are a number that work better. I think mentioning that this is a one-to-one message recorded just for them helps there. And then finally, we have a little GIF function as well, which actually makes a little moving image. And if you start your video waving and smiling, that has a big impact on people actually getting into it as well. We mentioned just before the call the idea of holding up a sign with the person's name. So funnily enough, I've seen mixed results with this. I would love to say it works outstandingly. So writing the person's name on a whiteboard so that it shows up in the image that goes in the email. It actually doesn't seem to have as big an impact as we thought.
Wow.
And so here's a challenge that that we have. I do think there are certain people who are likely to open things and certain people who are likely to not open things, and it's actually quite hard to shift them between the two. And this is because of the world of malware and everything else. So I think the biggest impact I've ever seen is actually letting someone know that you're going to send them a message first with a little bit of automated messaging that goes out. In Bonjoro, what we are doing going ahead is looking at other ways to deliver messages. So beyond email into potentially social, potentially SMS. And we've got another few tricks coming where we're going to be testing other ways to get these open more. As you said, as people start to realize what Bonjoros are, we are seeing open rates increase, and more people are using it. But I think really smiling, waving, make the subject line explicit in what it is, mention their name in the message that goes in the email body as well. All these help to increase that.
Okay, I just remembered the question I emailed you when your young intern emailed Bonjoro'd be back, which was, can I use this as an SMS or a messenger bot function?
Yeah, so it's something that we're working on. It's not as simple as first seemed.
No.
So we will be doing this now. Obviously, SMS will only work for clients that have and capture SMSs and have permission to use those.
Yes.
SMS is amazing. Just again, like never abuse it. Let's keep that channel nice and clean and fresh. Social can be good as well. I think what it might come down to is actually delivering through a number of messages to reach that individual. But again, we'll never get 100%. And so I think what you need to do as a business, whenever you're doing any type of outreach to customers, be it email, be it SMS, be it videos, anything, it all really comes down to ROI. So, it all comes down to what are the results you're getting. Do they justify the time that you're spending? And, with this, and again, every business is different. I think you need to look at it and go, am I getting more orders? Am I getting more reviews? Am I getting more engagement? Am I getting more word of mouth? If that's working, then great. And then it's just a case of testing and incrementally improving over time, the same as you would do with any kind of mailing out to your lists, I think.
Do you have a stat, and I'm putting you on the spot here, so I understand if you don't have it, of how a Bonjoro email open rate compares to an industry average open rate?
So our average open rates across all users And we have many shops, but then we also have SaaS companies, and we have doctors. Like we have an incredibly kind of range of people. The average open rate is 80%.
Wow.
So that means that they kind of get the email in and they check it out. They then obviously have to go and watch the video. Now, we don't count the views until someone's watched at least 5 seconds. So when you get a view, and this is quite important, it means they've actually consumed the content. So just having it open on an email, I think, is actually not the best indication of any email, because we can open it and delete it straight away.
Yes.
When someone watches something, you know they've watched your message. That, across the board, is around 50% of all the messages sent out. So that means that 50% of people who get these are consuming that entire message.
That is a lot better than a click-through rate. Well, in retail, a click-through rate of between 3 to 5% is doing really well. That's pretty high.
So 50% is your click-through rate, if you like, and then it's click-through and then stayed there and then consumed. So it's pretty high.
I was going to say, and let's be honest, if someone's watched more than 5 seconds, it's unlikely they're not going to watch the other 25, 35 seconds, because in those first 5 seconds, you've said, hi, Emma, so glad no one's going to, as soon as you say their name, they're not going to hang up, are they? They're not going to click stop. So as long as you capture them in those first 5 seconds, there's a pretty good chance they're going to go on and watch the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you have shared so much, and even I have learned something about how I can even get more from your platform. So I know that you've got a little gift that you are going to give people. You've got a little white paper that's available. What's that about?
So we talk a lot about delight, and this can be a bit of a nebulous term, but what we mean is this ability to surprise customers is, we think, the best way to get them to engage with your brand and then come back and repeat purchase and become customers for life. Delight is all about the unexpected. So obviously sending a video message to a person individually is absolutely unexpected, and it creates this little spark of endorphins. And so what we did, we reached out to some of the best individuals, influencers, companies, and teams around the world, and brought together their thoughts on how they delight their customers and how people should do it. And we pulled together a white paper. So in there, you'll find, Pat Flynn, you'll find the teams at Zapier, and many more, all talking about how they delight customers. And we pull that together, and that should be available at the end of this. Have a read through, look at some of the ways that, again, the best in the business delight their customers on a regular basis. And hopefully there should be some great tips there that you can take into your business.
And where can we grab that at?
There'll be a link with this podcast.
Okay.
If you don't get to that, then you can head to the Bonjoro website, and on our blog, there's a delight blog post with the link there to download.
Fabulous. Now, can you spell Bonjoro for the people? First of all, where did you get the name from? Because it's one of those really complicated things that when I was telling my 9-year-old daughter about it, she's like, I think you mean bonjour or buongiorno. And I'm like, no, it's called Bonjoro. Because when I was doing many hundreds of these, she would be in the background going, hi, Dad, welcome to the Retail Breakthroughs.
That's awesome.
So where did Bonjoro come from?
Look, massive fan of brand. And I think in today's day and age, there are two things when it comes down to choosing a brand for your business. Now, obviously, Bonjoro has connotations to bonjour, as you said, buongiorno, which is Italian for hello. It's the idea of greeting people. Second thing is that the domain was available. So let's face it, that's a big thing these days. Look, I think when you're coming up with a brand, if you can create a word that doesn't exist, of course, you can get, your domain, and you can potentially get your trademark on that. But it also is absolutely unique to you. So rather than using a word that exists already, create a word that has the right connotations, that is fun to say and can be said by, multiple people in different languages, and then make sure the domain's available.
And what about the bear suits?
So again, back to brand, yeah. So if you think about what we're doing here, we're building a platform that helps people delight their customers. We take that to the extreme. We're an extremely fun team. Bonjoro is supposed to be a fun product. It's all about humans. So we have a bear logo. Don't know how that came about, but then it's evolved into a thing where all my team, when they first join us, get to order custom bear suits. Our customers get bear suits when they hit 500 videos, for either them or for their kids. It's a bit of fun, and again, us being at the extreme, we hope that drags our customers to being a little bit more creative and a little bit more fun, and realizing that it's not about being too serious.
I love it. I love it. Okay, spell Bonjoro for the people who are thinking, I need this app.
So Bonjoro.
And is it just bonjoro.com?
That's it.
Okay, because some of you app people have got really weird URLs, but I love that you have kept it simple. Bonjoro.com. Available on Android and iOS?
Of course, Android, iOS, and desktop as well.
And desktop. I had to use desktop when my phone died. I'll tell you what's really hard. Oh, one more tip before you go was that you guys gave to me. Try and do a Bonjoro while you're moving.
Absolutely.
Because the movement actually keeps the customer engaged. So I do them on my back deck, walking back and forth, because there's quite a nice view off the back deck.
There's a whole psychology around what keeps the brain engaged. And if you're not moving, it's the first image and then kind of audio. When you're moving, it's much more interesting for the eye, and it keeps you more engaged so that you then pay more attention.
There you go. There's even some science behind it. Thank you so much, Matt. And I will pop a link not only to the white paper, but also to Bonjoro. It is a product that I love and endorse, and I think that it can really change your business. And it's not even super expensive. So head on over and have a look.
Hey, thanks, Lena.
Thanks, Matt. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. You can find all of the show notes over at selenaknight.com. If you found something that you heard today particularly useful, I'd love it if you could leave me a review on iTunes or Stitcher. And of course, feel free to share this episode with someone that you think could benefit by listening to it. Want more retail biz strategies? You can watch the Bringing Business to Retail TV show, where each week I'll answer a question or provide you with a simple, actionable retail biz strategy that you can implement in your business right away. If you have a question or a guest, I'd love to hear from you. Drop my team an email at podcast@selenaknight.com, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great week.